And this is just a quick demo to show the Rational Functional Tester scripts being run from Rational Quality Manager. As you can see here, I've got a quick little script in RFT to run the Calc app. I'm going to run the calculator, get a couple of values, make sure they come back with the right numbers, and then that'll validate that it worked. And then I'm going to go ahead and get the information required to run that from Quality Manager. So the test passed, everything's good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to identify the properties of that script so I know where it is, because I need this information when I configure my adapter. So we'll copy that information out, we'll exit out of that, and now we can actually just exit out of Functional Tester. We don't even need this anymore once we've got that script. Next thing we do is we go in and we configure the Rational Functional Tester adapter for Quality Manager. That's going to be under the same folder that your Functional Tester is located in, the adapter for Rational Quality Manager. You're going to go to configure. Note that after you've configured it in future times that you want to run it, you can just start the adapter, but for the first time you're going to configure it. And to configure it, you need to enter your Jazz Team Server URL for QM. That's as far as you have to go with that, and then your user ID and password. And then you can actually pull a drop down of the project area and pull the one that you want to use. In this case, I'm using demo, and that's fine. And we're going to apply that. It's going to ask you if it's really the right directory or folder, and then you start the adapter. And then keep this little window running, because that's basically the adapter. And now you can go into Rational Quality Manager. Note that under the project, once you're in the project, you've got a bunch of tabs up here. The first thing you do is go to the Execution tab, and you've got an item under here to browse the adapter console. And now that I've got that adapter running, note that I have the Functional Tester adapter, and the health is green. If it was not running, it would be a red square. If there was a problem, it would have a little yellow triangle. That's the first step. And once we've done that, we're going to go back and we're going to now import. Now we've got an adapter available, we're going to import those test scripts. To do that, you click on Construction, import those test scripts, and then select the script type. The script type is Functional Tester. You're now going to select the adapter, and you'll see it's right there. And then you can go ahead and identify the path at this point. Now that's the path that we were looking for a few minutes ago under the properties of the test scripts. So now that we've got that path entered, we can identify our test script, and there it is. Now that we've identified it, we'll go ahead and import it. And that test script that is local to that machine, to this machine, is now available to use from Quality Manager. Now that we've got a test script and we've got our adapter running, we need to create a test case. Note that you can have as many test cases as you want running. So we're going to go ahead and create a new test case. We're going to go ahead and call this demo. And we're going to say OK. Within our new demo test case, we're now going to add our brand new script as part of our test case. And here we go. We're going to select that. And we're going to add it and close. Now we have a test case. We have a test script. At this point, we are able to go through and we are able to launch that test case and run our Functional Tester test script from our Rational Quality Manager. At this point, we're not assigned to a plan or an iteration or a test environment. We're running the test script, but note that it's going to create a new test execution record for us. And that's fine. We'll leave that same name there. That's fine. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and run that test. Now that we're running it, it's going to go out and identify that adapter. It's going to run our test that our functional test was configured to run from within Quality Manager. Once that's completed, it's going to go through, it's going to calculate those results and save them up, and then give us the information in the spreadsheet form. At this point, now that we've got that execution completed and it's passed, we can show the results of that test execution. Now that's all very cool, but the next really cool thing we can do is once we have a series of these, we may have a whole bunch of test scripts we're running, in your case probably 75 functional test scripts. In this particular case, we're going to create a schedule for our test execution. And all we'd have to do for that is identify the name of the schedule. We could put our owner in there. And in this case, we can either do a date and time, or we can do this on build completion, so that this, if it's connected to our team concert builds, we can actually get a link in here and start the build. When the build is completed, this execution record would automatically then begin. But for now, we're just going to use a date and time. Let's say we want to do this every night at midnight. It's about 11:23 now, so I'm going to make this run at 11. Let's say 11:24. That gives us plenty of time. A minute is really all it takes. We're now going to scroll down. We're going to go in and add the step, which is going to be, in this case, the test execution record. We're going to select our demo test execution record there, test script, and we're just going to run that demo test script. That's it. That's all it takes to configure the scheduled implementation. And one thing I've noted is that sometimes it doesn't launch right at the specific second that you've got it configured in there. Not sure why. Maybe it goes in and it identifies all the stuff in the back end, or it has to, or maybe it's just a matter that I've configured it so close to the point in time where I created it. But it's within a few seconds of that particular time. It's about a minute after I wanted it to start. Not sure why it waits about a minute, but it's pretty consistent. It's about a minute after when you put it to start. Once that's completed, you can actually go in and you can then look at your execution record. So if we go in now at this point and we review our test case execution records, you'll see that the demo execution record, we can see here's the execution record in general, but we can see the previous details. Now, we note that I've run this twice. I ran it a few minutes ago, and it ran. But note that when it was scheduled now, the owner at this point is the admin. So I ran it the first time, made sure it works. Then the admin came back and ran it. We can look at that, and we can see now that it has passed. So that scheduled execution can happen. It can happen daily or weekly. It can happen, from a standpoint of repeated every few minutes for a certain amount of time. There's lots of things you can do to configure that schedule. But again, that's really all there is to it. Very simple thing to do, and we can go into planning details at another time in terms of creating a test plan, adding test execution records to plans, and schedules, etc., etc.